So this is the heart of the wild. Toby put this build together and put everything on a 3x3 table. It's pretty condensed right now because we've got some overlap with the banks that are kind of stacked up here, and there's no negative space, right? There's no terrain trays or water mats or battleboards or anything for the banks. So everything is pretty compressed, but we wanted to show you sort of all the pieces in all their glory. And there's a whole bunch of extra little bits up front here that didn't make it into the build. All right, so let's look at all the wonderful details in this build that Toby put together. So starting up this front edge here, you can see the entire thing is rimmed with banks, right? The entire perimeter is done with banks to give it a nice organic feel and actually integrate the banks into this build. And of course, it would be a great way to transition down to either more terrain or negative space, or just on your table like this. There's tons of little plants peppered around. We've got Fiscalid, Wolfsbane, Mephit Reed, sort of all over the place. There's enough little plants to give this thing lots of color. Over in this section here, we've got all the dead trees kind of clustered together. In the dead zone here, we've got 1 large tree and 3 small trees, as well as the projecting roots. This gives it kind of a little dead feel. Let's move these out of the way. Let's off some stump lumps. Boop. And this is the thing you could also do if you get into combat, right? And you need to see your minis, you can just pop out the stump lumps or pop the trees out and leave the stumps there. You can see what's going on. And then working our way back, we have Conifer and Willow Tree. And you can see, so Toby's built a little trail that runs through here, connected these trail pieces. Ooh, and it terminates into, so there's clearly certain death over there. So you can see with the trees off, you can see where the trees would be for line of sight, but you could easily move your minis in here and do a neat little combat. Coming along the front here, we have the Creepy Branch Stump Topper. You can pop off if you want, and this awesome Cypress Tree. And this one, I like this one a lot because it's so tall and it looks really different from other trees. Could be swampy, could be foresty, could even be mountainy. It's a good looker. All right, so now I've cleared out this area. Let's see what else we have in here. So we have this trail that's kind of running through here. If we want, we can drop in this little tripwire, right? So when the players discover it, if they make their investigation check or perception, they could see it, you could drop it in. If they don't, they set it off, you could drop it in. And then back here, we've got our swinging stakes trap. And this is just with a pole accessory hole into the mossy rock mount, so you can pop it anywhere. So if they set this thing off, or if they detect it, it goes off, you can drop this down and reveal the trap as a surprise, if you'd like. See, traveling around here, we got a bunch of these bushes. So this will be all hollowed out, so you can put a small miniature in there, or if it's a larger miniature, what you can do is take out use one of the teardrop holes and pop this over, and that should give you enough clearance to put like a human-sized mini under there and reveal that there's something springs out from under the bushes. The old Halloween prank come to murder your players. So working our way back, a nice little conifer here. Now we start getting into some of the more exciting bits. So over here, we've got a hole knoll with the Fey Wellspring on either side. We've got 2 of the LED socket rocks here, each with the Arcane Glow Globe in it. So those are fun because they're freestanding. You can put them anywhere. In this case, they make the pool look neat. And we're using the pool here. There's no light puck or anything in this, but it's also just a cool looking pool. It does not need light, but you could illuminate it if you want to. And it's sitting on top of the hole knoll, which is just a great base to kind of pop any of your bits on there, right? Fits a castle tower nicely. Nestled up next to the Fey Wellspring, we got our friend the Sorrow Nest. Ooh, over here, it doesn't even fit on the build, right? We have another one of the large stump lumps and the gnarled tree. Filling out another large stump lump back here, and a tall conifer. Lurking behind the wellspring, we have the slink root. And this is one of my favorites because it looks like it just could be a dead tree, or maybe it's alive and maybe it'll creep up on you and grab you. And it's got some hanging moss on it to help give it that extra creepy, swampity feel. Next to it, Blackrock Tree. You've got just a ton of trees, and this thing has got every variation on tree in the Wildlands here. So it's tons of trees. You get options. So you could pull these things out if you want it to be more lively, or pull out some of the live trees and just be heavy on the dead trees. Over here, we have the Archaean Dais with the saluting seraphs, and the center plug comes out if you want to have it as like a, the players can do a thing and open it and then go down. It's a well down into the dungeon or whatnot. All right, so moving our way further back. Oh, we have another swinging stake trap. And then working our way back here, we start entering into mountain territory. So we've got this little steps integrated up over here. Toby's done a neat thing with the ledges here, taking a ledge on one front side and the ledge transitions over here to make just like a cool lump. And using the trifecta, the forest trifecta ledges builds this sort of seamlessly into the forest floor. And so the Heart of the Wilds here has every one of the escarpments has the corresponding forest and mountain trifecta ledge. So you can build these in line with your mountains or your forests, your escarpments. Or of course you can build them on top if you want. So we have a neat little stairs coming up. You got your floating log. And what's great about the floating log is you don't have to just put it in water, right? You can just put it right on forest floor and it looks like it's just been sitting there forever. It's rotting, sinking into the forest floor. Working our way up here, we got, hidden over here, we've got another, we've got the magnetic boulder with the seal of binding on there, and another socket rock. There should be an LED for this somewhere. We got an Arcane Mana Stave up here, and then we're working our way up to the crags. Bloop. And this has the little bridge, and this is just fun. Like, who doesn't want to have a cool fight on a bridge? Although it's not the highest stakes to just fall down to a nice soft mossy rock forest floor. Better with a real chasm or something deadly, but still nonetheless cool. And then here's another Arcane Mana Stave. Maybe there's some sort of magic connection between the two. Here's a tall socket rock with the Balefire Lantern. I love this green, cool green lantern. And there's this stepped rock is used up against the oblong butte to make nice kind of steps up. Boom, 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 boom. So it's a good platforming over here. So we got the alligator skulls stuck on a mossy rock mound and then stuck on top of the crescent rock here. It's a great place to put a little MacGuffin, right? You put something up there, make it meaningful. And then there's this whole elevated section back here. We'll get to that in a sec, but let's go back up to the front and look at the front of the rest of the forest, and we'll work our way to the back of the mountains. All right, so moving back up to the front here, you see once again the swamp banks are covering this whole front edge. We've got a bunch of extra pieces over here, some more plants floating about, all these cool bits. We have the dead snag stump topper of this guy, a little hang of moss in an insert there. Looking around, we got a small forest stump lump with the rotten hole stump topper. More stump toppers. I got stump toppers everywhere here. And more plants, viscolids, mephit reeds, wolfsbane. And over here we have the spreading spore claw. And this is designed to work with our fogger. Oh, we don't have this. This will have an insert. I think we only cast one. This will have an insert that comes with it, removable insert. So you can also use this as a cool, just like crater, hole in the ground, or go down into your caves or whatnot. There's lots of opportunities with this. This whole null piece is dynamite. It also has pole accessory holes up in the three corners, so you could decorate it up. And of course, this thing looks awesome with or without the fog. It's just a cool, impressive, terrifying plant. It would also work be at home in your cavern. Lots of options with that guy. All right, so behind this spreading spore claw, we have Cypress Tree there. And we've got the gnarled tree on the large projecting roots, which kind of looks neat on land, right? It looks like this really crazy old ancient pine or something. It sort of clears out. And you can see we've got banks. Toby used banks here to kind of make a little elevated area on top of the floors. So there's layering stuff up. And here's a really cool neat part here. There's it's the hidden burrow up over just these this, it's a small concave up against these corners, and they put this over, and it makes like this neat little depressed area. And you could, put a little flower in there, put a little wild wolf mane. Maybe there's a little critter living in there. Got a sour nest with a couple of little baby sour nests, and a viscolid. Over here, regal rowan tree. Nice splash of color. And then moving back, we got a couple of more conifers. The other way. Ooh. Over here, shimmer frond. Splashy guy. And then we have some neat stuff where we start transitioning from forest into mountain again. So there's a section over here where the banks just go right up onto the rocky mountain bit. And it looks really good. Toby used this bank to transition down to the mountain floors, and it's yet another way to transition from forest to mountain, or swamp to mountain in this case. And then over here, this is a nice little transition from this edge, this leading edge. It's using the small swamp convex and the rock mountain together side by side to kind of transition down from this. And then up here, using more banks to put some greenery on top of the stone, and once again make it less of a jarring transition between one biome to the other. So also in this corner over here, we got a Wyvern Skull. And then these are little Aranthor expansion pieces, making it a nice little extended cliff area here. Kind of this whole little nook is all this cliff pieces, decorated up with the mephit reed and another magnetic boulder, little wyverstone cluster. Here's a nice bit too. This is the stepped rock teardrop insert put inside this swamp bank, and it makes a kind of a neat rocky area there, which this is already a rocky piece. It's extra rocky. Yeah, working along front here, more wyverstone clusters, cave that who knows what that leads to. What do you think's in there? Something, nothing but trouble. The conifer here on a large stump lump, and the nettle gorse, which is definitely a fan favorite plant. And then behind it, you can see there's more of these. These are the mountain trifecta ledges used to kind of elevate up even one more level, one floor's height coming up. And then these plain inserts and concave under there. Underneath this is all stilts under here. Even more, these are the Aranthor ledges with the planar pylon. Another nettle gorse, we got two of those guys. This is a neat little trick. It's using the end cap and the Aranthor expansion corner side by side to make a little raised area here. And this is on top of more swamp banks, so you get some more plant areas. And then over here, last bit of escarpments, more nettle gorse, more little wyverstone clusters. Oh, we missed this sort of floating driftstone up here with the little jumpy stone on top. That fits really nice. We could even leave a nettle gorse up there if we want. And then finally, the last piece of the whole thing, we have the Oblivion Nexus, and that's covering the mountain SFX cutout floor. And you could use that if you wanted. If you pop out the lid, you could have this on here, and that could be just a dangerous portal down into something, right? Maybe that leads to the Shadowfell, or it's down into a dungeon, or it's just a terrible pit where they throw bodies or whatnot. But it shows you this is everything in Heart of the Wilds on one 3x3 table, all clustered in. Of course, now we've deforested, everything's off the sides, but it should give you a really nice idea of how these three biomes can interact. They can all sort of work and flow seamlessly from one to the other. And you got all the trees and plants you could need to do all sorts of crazy wilderness encounters.